Hi, welcome back to Spoonful of Jelly. My name is Lauren, and today we're talking about the completion of Learning to Read My Christian Light Education. My son did it, guys. He finished all 10 booklets of the Learning to Read program, and I wanted to share my experience with this curriculum. So, starting off, number one, my son is not the first child I taught to read. Matter of fact, I've taught dozens of children to read, both here in America and overseas in Japan. Learning to read is a very special time for children to see those eyes burst open when they get it, when they got it, and the eyebrows are frown up when it's totally confusing and they don't understand what's going on. But learning to read opens up a doorway to anything. And so this curriculum, I believe, is well labeled. Number one, you are going to learn to read. You're going to learn how to see a brand new word, decode it on so many levels, understand it, and be able to process the whole entire sentence. This program does an excellent job with it. So I wanted to go over some of the main reasons why I love this program. I got some notes down here, so if you see me look down, it's my notes that I'm looking at. But why in the world do I like this program? So number one, the work is divided in 10 little booklets, which gives children the feeling of accomplishment. So these are the booklets. This is number 10. They all look the same in the front cover. However, the material changes. So at the beginning of the year, I made a stack of these books in the corner on the bookshelf. Over my shoulder, you can see, you see the language arts for learning to read over my shoulder. And he is able to go over there, grab the next booklet when he finishes one. He started to see that stack dwindle down, and that excited him. He was like, I'm almost done. I'm almost done. That not only meant almost done with the program, it meant almost done with the grade, almost done with the task that has taken forever. When he finishes one of these booklets, I store it in another location so that he still has that visual indication of success. I love the fact that these 10 little booklets do that. Depending on how many days in a school week that you guys do school, this booklet can last between 2 to 3 weeks. So this booklet having, on average, 10 lessons, this will be about 2.5 weeks for us. Each of these booklets come with a test. I think all my tests are stored away, but each booklet comes with a test. These tests are stored in the middle of the booklet. You just tear it out whenever you give the child the new booklet. I don't tear it out. My son knows how to flip past it. I'm not worried about him having a sneak peek at the test, and that's because he hasn't finished the book in order to take the test, so he doesn't feel like he needs an advantage by peeking at it. There is a lesson 11 in the booklet, and I believe a couple of the booklets have a lesson 12. Usually the very last lesson in a book can be used as review if the child did not do well on the test. Second reason why I love the Learning to Read program, it gives children enough information from the very beginning to allow them to read something. So I have with me 101. This is the very first book. And so right off the bat, this is lesson 8. They are writing very simple words that they can read. These very simple CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonant words, will allow for them to not only identify and read them, but it gives them a list at the back that allows them to read more than one at a time. It feels like a baby sentence to them, and they feel that accomplishment. This is just the first 2 weeks. All right. The next 2 weeks will be in booklet 102, and this is the middle of that book. They get the very first sentence in this pink portion right here. That is why I love it, because within the first month or two of a child getting these booklets and walking through them, they're able to read a whole entire sentence. That phonetic learning carries the child much further than sight word learning, much further than letter group wording. I forgot the name of it, where the children are learning the family sounds and just adding the consonant in the beginning. And it's because they learn phonetically, they're able to see any combination of the 26 letters and sound them out themselves. They just need a tad bit of patience. Children have to learn that too, right? So I love that. Here is lesson 5, booklet 2, first sentence. So number 3, picking up on the last comment, is phonetic learning. Now, since I've taught children to read, I have always taught with the phonetic form of learning. I have not taught group families. I have seen that being taught to children that I have tutored. And those children have a hard time with phonetic spelling because they're taught that 2 letters or 3 letters make a particular sound, and all you have to do is switch out 1 letter. For example, A-N. If you want to make pan, add the P in the beginning. If you want to make tan, add the T in the beginning. But where they have a hard time is when they start to add E at the end. That sound of A-N is no longer an, it's ain. And the children have a hard time rewriting that memory of A-N to add in long sounds. It's not impossible, it's just a little longer. With learning phonetically, the children learn every little sound. And so my son learned the tune. Every letter makes a sound, every word makes a sentence. And that way he understands that you build little by little to get exactly what you're looking for. In this case, reading a sentence, then a paragraph, then a book. So I love the phonetic form of learning. It is old-fashioned now to be considered as a phonetic learner. But guess what? Let's not change what's not broken. And that form of learning was not broken. Number 4, why do I love this curriculum? It brings in forgotten skills and forgotten words or less used words to the young reader. For example, on this page in booklet 106, at the very bottom, they have a dot graph. They show the children how they want the graph to be completed, and then down below, the child has to complete those lines. The tricky part is they start to delete lines so that the children have to figure out exactly how many dots they were supposed to touch with that line. This helps with hand-eye coordination, minuteness, minimizing, you name it. That eye has to learn how to decipher what is there, what is not there. It helps with letter reversal. It helps with letter confusion. And that is needed past the simple CVC words. Sometimes children don't recognize the word drill because the I, the L, and the L look very close together, and they often see them as the same letter. So if you are not helping them with hand-eye coordination or helping them with a letter differential or any type of differentials, their eyes can gloss over it and think they're saying DRLLL or DRIII or any combination thereof. Another thing that I love is the vocabulary. As many times that I had to guess what the pictures are trying to indicate in order for me to help him. Yes, I have a teacher's guide. I should be using that more often. But I love the fact that they make sure that children are learning tons and tons of vocabulary that is not found in a textbook on average. But in this case, there are some words such as saddle that he had to learn. And how many children are learning that word? And I believe it's saddle. But I had to describe it because he's only seen it in the cartoon. He has not seen a saddle in person. He's seen a horse in person. So, but I think he did not pay attention to the saddle. What else? Jacks. Did you guys grow up playing jacks? Pick up sticks? Yep, I'm part of that age group. So he had to learn that word and spell that word. Obviously, he got it right. There's a star there. But there's so much vocabulary in these 10 booklets that you will hardly ever see, including moat. Yes, a moat around a home. I've seen all kind of vocabulary. And I'm like, wow, When do you ever use that? But guess what? It's great practice to learn how to spell it. Okay, so the last bonus reason, number 6, why I love the Learning to Read curriculum is the stories that are in the books. What does that mean? So, this is the last story provided in the booklet 10. So, I'm going to point out a couple things about the story. Number 1, one picture for 2 pages or page and a half story. You might think that, what is the big deal with that? Well, children often get caught up in little readers of it being only 1 or 2 sentences, and the 80% of the page is a picture. And they get caught up in that fashion, in that routine of only having to read 1 or 2 sentences before they have to change the page. They are more focused on the picture than they are focusing on the writing. And so that is hard to transition into book reading when the child is used to only 1 or 2 sentences per page. So that's why I love this form. The second form is there's a huge difference between this story and some of the earlier booklets. This font has gotten smaller, which means there's more on a page than previously. That once again brings in that book reading, that when children reach a particular age, they are starting to read a lot more, and therefore the letters are getting smaller, the font is getting smaller, less and less pictures. All that rolls into their ability to read books. And the transition of that in these booklets are so subtle, but it's there. And I noticed it. My son really didn't notice it. And I'm pretty shocked because most kids would probably be like, where's the pictures? Where's the pictures? He saw the picture at the end when the booklet was open. And so he just read all the way into the picture. Another reason that I love the story, not only are they wholesome stories, but the story has a character trait to it. Always has something where a child has done wrong and was corrected, done well, was praised, or an event happened where something bad was fixed, something good was observed. That is so helpful when the child reads a story like that. It helps the child to understand that a story has a beginning and an end, and it's not just this blurb of endless sentences. And I also love the fact that most of these stories in here are about children and children action and not animals. At this stage of 6 and 7, they're coming out of the donkey talks and the chicken clucks. They are looking for something with a little bit more substance, and these stories provide those substance. He's able to read that story and kind of chuckle or look at me like, oh, that wasn't right. He's starting to understand character development in these short little stories. If you're looking for a curriculum that helps you to teach your child to read, gives you very simple instructions, and has fun little activities along the way, this curriculum is perfect in my opinion. I have not found many problems or issues with it. I have enjoyed the whole entire process. I will throw a caveat in there. Booklet 8, 9, and 10 does have some difficulty in it. If you're finding that your child is struggling with understanding the concepts with it, take a pause and go back over booklet 6 and 7 a little bit more. You can also use flashcards. Those are Abeka flashcards. This curriculum does have a set, but that particular set I already had, so I used it. But that will help your child tremendously. Do not give up on a curriculum. Just give them some time to practice what they already know and then pick this back up. And trust me, they will sail through it. So this has been great. It's been excellent. And when we got to the last booklet, my son was like, that's it, this is the last one. I was like, yes. He's so excited. So we're heading on to Language Arts 1 and Language Arts 2, which is over my shoulder. It's a continuation of phonetic sounds, bringing in grammar, more writing and reading, and the lessons are short and sweet with practice right behind it. So learning to read. So if you're looking for a curriculum set your eyes on this. Super cheap to purchase, relatively easy to call and ask questions if you have any. But the best part about it is, little by little, your little one will learn to read. I hope to see you guys right here on this channel next time, where we talk about homesteading on Sundays and homeschooling on Thursdays. Until next time, guys, take care. Bye.